For this class, you will need to write a 2-page paper, or at least make it to the second page, a 1.5-page paper, and I want to talk about a little bit of how I want that formatting to look. Before I do that, though, let's talk about the topic. Any topic you want. Tell me about a hobby of yours. Write a story. You'll actually see a story here that I'm writing or that I wrote a few years ago. Tell me about your family. Tell me how you use computers. Any topic you want. This is how I would put that story into Microsoft Word. First, I would just go ahead and click, I'm ready to write, so I can go ahead and type friendship. That's the name of my story, and I want that to be bold-faced. I have to select it first, and then I can hit the B for boldface, and I want it centered. Just selected it, centered it, and bold-faced it. I want it to go down to the next line, so I'll hit return, and now I'm ready to start typing my story. But, well, notice right there, it's still based, it's still centered. I don't want that, so I'm going to go and select this again. Or actually, if I didn't have anything there, I wouldn't have had to select anything, but I'll select it and tell it, put it on the left, and don't make it bold-faced. And I actually have already typed up my story. I'm not going to make you wait through me typing up 2 pages of story. So I'm going to go right here to the word paste. I've already done a copy, hit paste, and there my story is. If I want to see what that looks like on the page a little bit more, I could come down to my percentage right here, and I could say, show me on many pages. Let's make it 2, and that shows me what it looks like for the 2 pages. I can click that same item and just make it the page width again. So I can go back and see it in different ways. I can also use the slider right here if I just want to zoom in and out, but I think I'll just stick with that method right there. Now, I want to put my name and the date on the top. Whoops, I forgot to make space. So how do I move the entire paper down? Click right before friendship, hit return, move my up arrow to right there, and I can type my name. And then I can hit enter and type the date. Obviously, if you were doing this for your own paper, you would have written the actual date, but I don't want the date centered and I don't want it bold-faced. So I'm going to go ahead and select these right here, and I'm going to go ahead and say, let's get rid of that centering. Put it on the left-hand side. Let's get rid of the bold-faced, and I don't want space between it. And so I could go ahead and just click right here. That's exactly what I want it to look like, except I want it on the right-hand side. There it is on the right-hand side. Perfect. So far it looks very good. The only thing I might want is to add 1 extra space right there. I could come to this right here and either add another space or move to this right here and say add space before paragraph. Now friendship is down a little bit. The name and the date are right where they should be. Everything looks just the way that it should. Next thing I want to do is I want it to have 1 paragraph be a different style. And that could be a paragraph anywhere throughout my entire paper. I'm actually going to go ahead, since my story starts off with a quote, I'm going to select this paragraph and move over here and say, okay, I want it to look a little different. I could have it look like that, could have it look like that. I don't know if I like any of those looks, so I'm going to hit this little arrow right here and pick one that I like. That looks pretty good. I think I'll use that. Again, you can use a different one. And there it is. You can also have done this manually. If you selected that paragraph, you could have picked a different font, a different size, made it bold, italics. In this case, the differences are it's bold, it's italicized, and it's a different color. The different color is set up right here. So I could have done that, but I think I'll just leave it. The other thing that I wanted was a page number. Well, if I scroll to the bottom of this page, no page number there. Bottom of the next page, no page number. Well, where do I insert a page number? Easy enough. I go to the Insert tab right here, and I look, where do I see page numbers? There it is. Can click on it, and I want at the bottom of the page, and I will leave it up to you. What style do you want? Let's see if I could find anything I like. This one looks good, a little fancy, but nothing too exciting. So I'll go ahead and click on that, and it automatically knows to put page 1 at the bottom. And if I scroll down, page 2 at the bottom of the second page. Like magic, it just knows. So we're set with that. Now, I wanted to make sure that my margins are 1 inch all the way around, that I have an inch right here, that I have an inch right here, that the top of my paper and at the bottom is. I can check that by hitting Page Layout, hit Margins right here, and sure enough it's on normal, which is top, bottom, left, right, 1 inch. Usually that's what you're going to need, but sometimes you do want things to be a little different, so you could actually select things. If I made it different, notice how I have a bigger margin there. I could even make them really, really large, like that, but we're not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it at normal. We're set. That right there is the entire paper that you need to write. There is some extra credit, however. That extra credit is adding an image. The way I can get that picture in there, and the picture is extra credit, so when I say you want it, you really don't have to have it, but it's nice to have. To get that, I say Insert and go to Clip Art. I could remember get pictures from someplace else, from the web, from another file, but for our case, Clip Art is fine, and I'll get a picture of a pine cone because I'm talking about pine cones in this story. So I want a picture of a pine cone. Type it in, click Go. All sorts of pictures here that I can use, but I'm going to click the very first one right here and enter the picture. That's a little bit bigger than I want, so I'm going to shrink it down. And where do I want it? I could position it in the top right, but ooh, that moves my name over, so I'm just going to drag it down some. Maybe I want it right there. That's a little bit bigger maybe than I want. Changing the size by the corner, remember why I'm doing that. If I change the size by the side, whoops, I've completely changed the way it looks. It's now really, really wide. I can go to this undo arrow, shrink that down, maybe even make it just a little smaller. There we go. I think that looks good. There it is. I have my pine cone. I have my story. If I want to, I could say, does it really make it to 2 pages? It sure does. That looks good. I could see page 1, page 2. It's a little hard to see on the video, but they're there, page 1, page 2. If I really want to see exactly what will this look like when I preview, I can go to this preview icon that we should have up here, which is this icon right there, Print Preview. If you don't have this icon, remember we can click on this little arrow and hit Print Preview. Whenever I want it, just Print Preview. Now my icon is right there. Hit Print Preview. That's exactly what I want it to look like. I can look at the next page if I wanted to, just scrolling down here. Looks good, and if I wanted to, I could go ahead and print it. Remember also, if I had forgot to do margins before, I have access to margins. I have access to some other items right here, but that's really all we need for the paper, all we need for the movie. I'll set this back just to remind us how to do page width, and there my paper is done.